Like I was introduced, my name is Wawa Gatheru. I am a climate activist, a Gen Z climate activist, and I really see my work as being a part of understanding that the climate crisis is, while an ecological crisis, it's also a narrative and leadership crisis. So with Black Girl Environmentalists, we are a national nonprofit that is working to empower the next generation of Black women and Black gender expansive folks. And we are specifically doing that through addressing the very real pathway and retention issue that exists in the climate sector for that demographic. We know that people of color make up nearly 40% of the US population, but we don't exceed a 12 to 16% green ceiling in the climate sector. We also know that Black women have amongst the lowest retention rate. So a lot of the work that we're doing is to address those paradigms by creating and supporting existing pathways while making sure that when we are entering the space, we are staying. So I actually want to take a step back and really ground the just transition framework, where it comes from. So to me, a just transition is a visions-led, place-based set of strategies that are working to move us from an extractive economy into a regenerative one. It's a framework that comes from labor unions and grassroots environmental justice organizations that have been localized within poor communities of color. And those communities have always known that first and foremost, a just transition has to protect workers' rights. First and foremost, we have to engage in equitable wealth distribution, and we have to provide good paying jobs. So when we think about what that looks like for Black women and Black gender expansive folks and early career folks of color, folks need to be able to be seen as demographics that can hopefully allow us to solve the climate crisis. For Black Girl Environmentalists, environmental justice is really core and key to a just transition because environmental justice calls for the meaningful participation of all people, regardless of race, class, gender, whatever it might be, in regards to environmental decision making. And in order for that to happen, in order for the green economy space to allow for a just transition to happen in that way, we have to create and invest in workforce pathways that allow for emerging climate leaders of color to come up. So BGE, we're doing a lot of that work. We are creating our own pathway programs. We recently launched the Hazel and Johnson Fellowship Program, named after the mother of environmental justice, Chicago-based environmental justice activist, Hazel and Johnson. And with that program, we have partnered with different green organizations across disciplines, from fashion to climate tech, to finance, to policy, to really provide opportunities for rising juniors, rising seniors, and recent graduates that identify as Black women and Black gender expansive folks to participate in summer-long internship programs while making sure that they're being paid fairly, a minimum of $18 an hour, as well as receiving a $5,000 living and wellness stipend. Because even though there's a lot of conversation around pushing back against unpaid internships, there isn't a ton of conversation around how the high cost of living also plays a role in people being able to access these opportunities. So my take is, if we can do it as a very small Black youth-led environmental justice organizations, then everybody in this room can do it as well.